My quick question was if you can just talk briefly. I know you wrote extensively and spoke extensively about this.
By the way, excuse me. Value check was high up in the court system in Germany
Yes.
after the
Yeah. They
sorry.
Most of them are, actually, in the court system are totally infiltrated by these pedophile rings. Yes, my question was quickly about the porn industry and the connections with big pharma and the mafia and the prostitution. All this whole sex slavery and sex slave industry and mind control of parts of our brains and the people's brains, the masses' brains that are consumers and affected by it is controlled with, by those predators, basically. So if you can just briefly summarize what the connections and ties are, and because it's pretty essential, I think.
Yeah, well, big pharma has a history, and by the way, Rockefeller has a major part that he and then his foundation played in taking the medical system away from the healers of the time and confining it all within the hospitalization and the pharmaceutical world. Yeah. So once that was controlled, big pharma is deeply involved in creating and supporting the corruption of children's minds. Why? Because first of all, the more that you can destroy the heterosexual male-female, family, the more you destroy the health and the resiliency of the children. So you have to, the idea is that not just, impotence is off the charts, males cannot perform sexually the way they could. They rely on pornography. Pornography and big pharma are in bed with one another for various reasons. The inability to function sexually with a woman, with much less a wife you marry, yes, has been a fortune for big pharma. Not only do they produce the Viagra and the other one, I forgot what they call it for the females, but you have the venereal diseases, vaccines for the venereal diseases that you say to the children, to the parents, you must give your child the HPV, the Hep B, and and soon the gonorrhea and the syphilis and this vaccine and that vaccine, because the child is sexual from birth, and if the child is not vaccinated, they will get one or all of these diseases. Well, that's going to destroy their immune system. It has destroyed their immune system. The immune system isn't even up and working until what? The argument is 6 months, or it's sometimes the argument is later. So you give the child at birth all of these vaccines. I don't know what it is in France, but in the United States right now, it's 20-some vaccines. And most of them, you're waving at me?
Yes, the same here in France. Just wanted to mention, because vaccines against the hepatitis B at 2 months old in France is
right.
and 2 months later,
booster.
4 months later, there's another vaccine.
Yeah.
That, and it's a sexually transmittable disease anyway. So 2 months old and 4 months old, it's crazy.
Yeah, in our country, as far as I understand, it used to be, and I think it still is, that they get it right when they're born. You know, you carry the little baby in and you just start shooting them. Well, there's no way their little hearts, their little lungs, their little brains, their little bodies. Point is, there is billions of dollars, billions involved in giving all these vaccines to these children, because not only is that dysfunctional for the children when they're babies, but you then have subsequent diseases, autism, pediatric, all kinds, asthma, everything, because you've broken down their immune system. There's no way children, for the most part, can survive all those make them ashamed that they're virgins when they get married. Yeah, because if they're virgins, they aren't getting all these. Virginity is now a dirty word, you know? Virginity is a dirty word. Well, thank you very much. If you're able to control your sexual life until you meet somebody who you trust, yeah, and who trusts you, and you have sex in that relationship, you don't get all these diseases, right? Yeah, but so you got to get the children active when they're born. You get them sexually active, you know, in a short period of time. They can put the money into the pharmaceutical companies by the billions. It never stops. It never stops. Yeah.
Right, right. And in France, for example, we're in the middle of a storm, in the midst of a storm, because the health minister says children must receive like 11 compulsory vaccines from January 1st, 2018. They're on, you know, and it's crazy. It's just 11 vaccines to little babies.
Yeah, it's not crazy if you're in the profit industry, you know. It's not crazy. You're making a fortune. And I remember France had this big scandal, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, where, what was it? The health ministry, what was it that they did? Something awful.
Oh yes, the contaminated blood with the HIV virus, right?
Yeah. You trust those people to tell you what's healthy for your children? No, absolutely not. But what, you know, you don't have exemptions. Do the kids must have this? I'm asking.
Yeah. Well, it's that they want to make it mandatory, but there's a lot of struggle, you know. So.
Yeah, well, I think you need to remind everybody that the health ministry, you know, killed a lot of kids, right, in the past with this the blood thing. Yeah. I mean, why would you trust those people? The issue is education in the schools. They're mandating that they teach all the children this kind of garbage. It's going to destroy them and destroy the country and destroy the world as we know it, and leave us all a bunch of little robots, you know, and dying very painfully. It's not, you know, dying young and dying very painfully.
Yeah, they create the problem to offer their solutions.
This always is the case. This is always the case. You create the problem and then you say, here, I give you the solution, which is not a solution. It just makes more, you know, profit for the industry. Right. No, big pharma is in it all the way up and down. Yeah. You asked something about pornography.
Yes, I mentioned also mafia and prostitution and.
Oh yeah. They want to legalize prostitution. Sure, legalize prostitution. Why not? You legalize prostitution, and then you lower the age of consent, and you lower it and lower it and lower it. So girls and boys can be used at any age. In some, and I've said for the rights of the child, the UN thing, the UN for the rights of the child. What is that? Ariane?
Si.
What is it? The UN for the rights of the child. What is it?
Oh, pour the sexual rights? No, les Nations Unies.
Les standards pour l'éducation sexuelle en Europe.
Sexual education in Europe, the standards? No?
I don't know. Yeah.
Also, they want to lower the age of consent in France down to what, 11, I think? Right?
11, si, 11.
Yes, 11 years old.
Plus les renforts. Plus les...
Yeah. You can tell the French people that we Americans stand by 16, which is pretty low anyway, Yeah. So yeah, you lower the age of consent. So 11-year-olds can be sent out by their parents to prostitute. Yeah. They can be sent by their boyfriends. Children do a lot of things for their boyfriends. Yeah.
Well, in Germany, prostitutes file taxes.
Oh, right. Yeah. How good.
Dans les standards pour l'éducation sexuelle en Europe, ils enseignent bien la prostitution, c'est-à-dire le sexe en échange de petits cadeaux aux enfants de 16 ans, à partir de 15 ans, je crois, 15 ans et plus, dans les modules de sexualité.
Yeah, wonderful. And in that way, we progress as professionals too. You work your way up and you become a psychiatrist or a psychologist or an anthropologist or a sociologist by having sex with your professors, too. I mean, why not? Yeah. It's a complete destruction of the Judeo-Christian moral imperatives that we have lived by, that created our decent societies, that gave us the standard of living, and it will be destroyed only for the elites